Right, I've been after one of these for a very long time, and thankfully Armsaholics in Hong Kong came through. He's kept an eye out for one of these for a little while, and he found it. You can't buy these new, so this is secondhand. I've bought this from through him from someone on one of the Hong Kong forums. So this is the Agency Arms Glock 34 Fatal Edition. So this is their RMR cut Glock 34. It's had a bit done to it, so I'll just talk you through that at the moment. I'm obviously using Garda lightweight magazines, and I've got the new Garda version 2 style followers in, just because they're orange, they don't make any more meaningful improvement. Let's take that off as well. So it's RMR cut. It came with the original Gunsmodify sights, so these are mock tritium sights. I'll probably get them replaced with tritium sights at some point. It came with a recoil rod. I've done a bit of modding to this, but it came with a recoil rod, a zero blowback housing, steel Glock 34 length barrel with the Fatal Edition written on it. Now this one, if you look carefully, this one you can see has had some use and is in really good condition considering how much use it's had, so I'm very happy with that. To guarantee the easiest amount of use out of this, or to guarantee the performance in this, I've basically gone entirely Gunsmodify. So that is a Gunsmodify steel hop unit. I've used a I-bar for tension. I've got barrel stabilizer there, that all goes in. That is a zero blowback unit with a version 2 nozzle. Cow recoil rod. Only reason for this is because it's silver and you can easily fit the short strokes on it. So I have reduced the travel to as little as possible. So yeah, you can see there the paint's lifting ever so slightly from the recoil rod. There you go. Sorry, from the slide catch. So the slide catch there is cutting into the slide slightly. Not really much you can do about that. I was lucky and I managed to get my hands on an Agency Arm base plate, or cover plate for the blowback unit. It's just a fake SOTAC Holy Warrior RMR. I have some O-sight ones that I prefer for use in game now, but these are just for display. So that's basically what came. That's what was ordered, and it's come in very good condition. There's obviously signs of use and there's the odd scratch on it, but in general that is probably one of the best condition Agency Arm slides I've got secondhand. So kudos to the previous owner. If you're watching this, you looked after it very well considering that you definitely used it, so fair play. The lower, which is something I built recently, that is a Gunsmodify steel front frame, Gunsmodify Lone Wolf slide stop, silver steel slide catch there. I've used a cow trigger bar, which I wouldn't normally recommend, and I'll explain that a little bit later. And then in here is a complete steel Gunsmodify zero hammer unit. That's also got the 4-pound trigger brake on it, so there's quite a heavy trigger pull. Now, the reason that's in there is because with the £4 trigger pull kit, I was finding that the Gunsmodify steel trigger bar, which is gold and looks much nicer, that was bowing, and you could feel it bow in the trigger pull. So you end up with sort of like a mushy trigger pull, which wasn't very nice. I've also put in Gunsmodify steel pins and fake roller pins there. It's just a standard mag release. This frame, if you want to buy one, go to Armsaholics. This is the big A frame. I think this is the 2024 edition. It's one of the newer ones. These are very, very, very well manufactured. I have a lot of love for these frames, and whoever does these, I don't know who actually does them. I think Armsaholics maybe does them himself, or maybe he buys them in, but they are exceptional quality. Their garter, the stippling on them is done by hand, but they are fantastic. I can't fault them. I like them so much that I've bought loads of them. I think I've probably got a dozen of them now. There you go. So that is the Gunsmodify Agency Arms Fatal Edition. Very, very, very rare. As a bit of comparison, I've got my regular Glock 34 Agency Arms. So this is very similar in spec. It is just, it's not got the RMR cut, so it's not the Fatal Edition. Very much the same length, lower sights, still has, so I've 3D printed these plates. I've not done a bad job of them, if I don't say so myself, but I've 3D printed these plates because getting the CNC ones off of Gunsmodify isn't possible anymore. So if you are interested in these 3D printed plates, then let me know. They're not expensive. They do look half decent. Ever so slight signs that they've been 3D printed. I would need interest, but I can get them machined in aluminium as well, but I would need more interest than I have. I would need probably a dozen people to say they want one. So this one's slightly different setup. It has, so there's the Gunsmodify gold trigger, a gold trigger bar. So that's steel with titanium nitride covering. It has got a regular TM hammer set in it, with the zero hammer and a larger roller bearing on it. Now, this has got an interesting problem, and I've only ever seen this due to the Gunsmodify hammers. When I squeeze the trigger, the hammer gets stuck, and it took me a while to figure out what was happening. But if you look there, there is a crack. And when you squeeze the trigger, the crack gets bigger, and that's where it's getting jammed. So this needs a new hammer chassis. So I'll probably do a full steel replacement for this. I'm going to run I think this is a UAC aluminium front rail. I'm going to keep running that, and I'll explain why. I have been trialing a TTI hop unit in this, and it's been very good. However, the TTI hop unit doesn't fit in the steel Gunsmodify lower. So this is the steel lower. It doesn't fit in here. Now the problem is that this bit here is too long, so it just doesn't lock in. It's just never going to go far back enough. There's too much material in the way. Now there's two ways of fixing this. You could sand out the back of the this lower part here, or you could sand out that, and I'll be honest, it's marginal, but the hop unit's cheaper, and also aluminium's easier to work with. So maybe I'll do that, but for now, the UAC frame is perfect. So yeah, main differences other than the RMR cut is that the full G34 is a full Glock 17 piston, whereas on your RMR cut it is a Glock 18 style system, so the nozzle, the piston volume is slightly smaller. What would be quite nice, and I'm not sure it'll ever happen, but it'd be quite nice if someone like Gunsmodify did a hybrid it's quite nice. It would be quite nice if Gunsmodify did a hybrid blowback unit where effectively you can put a Glock 17 Gen 4 nozzle in here. It's much larger volume. It's much more gas efficient. So that would be really cool. I know they're working on Gen 4 stuff now, so I don't see why they couldn't do it, but I don't have the same technical expertise as them. Right, so yeah, so that is that. Thank you for watching. I'll have probably another video up soon of a build that I'm doing for someone. I'm fixing their Glock 18, so hopefully I'll put that up soon. Thanks a lot, and I'll talk to you next time.